What are some dark secrets about grocery stores? I worked at a chain grocery store years ago. We had this awful smell down one particular aisle. The manager never wanted to investigate and would just say something must have spilled. She even went as far to have us hang air fresheners on the shelves to mask the smell. Several years later the store underwent a remodel where aisles were moved. They found a giant rat's nest under the shelving unit of this particular aisle. It was one of the most disgusting things ever. Once they cleaned it out, the smell finally resolved. I worked at a Heath food grocery in Florida when I was in college. About 90% of the money the store made was from supplements, not food. The food was to get people to come in and do all of their shopping at one place. Also, we had a semi-secret, cash-only product kept in the back office that was a drink to help you pass drug tests. No idea what was in it, but I sold at least 20 bottles per week. My buddy works at one and he says it's crazy how often giant spiders come out of banana boxes. The only thing that washes a shopping cart is rain. We do haul trash bags in them. Oftentimes the customer trash cans are just mixed because the janitor sure as hell isn't digging out that bottle you threw in the compost. Everything just goes in the dumpster. Most of the time the rewards cards did nothing at the chain I worked at. Apples can be stored in proper conditions for close to a year and still be sold at the supermarket. So that apple you're buying in May is most likely from sometime the year prior. Worked as a night stalker and checker at a Kroger and the number one stolen thing was meat. Every night all over the store you find open packages of meat hidden everywhere or just checked under shelves. And to the point above about the animals? Don't ever look or get under the shelves. Anything under should be considered lost forever, trust me. Grocery store managers are very prone to being bribed by businesses when it comes to slot space. I was talking with a co-worker at a part-time furniture store job I had a few years back. Guy was retired and used to manage grocery stores. I ask him about it and he starts talking about all the free shit he got from Coke, Pepsi, Nestle, all sorts of big companies. They would offer him free Falcons tickets, flights to resorts all over the place, etc. Why? Because when they offered him this stuff he gave them more space on the shelves. Coke wants 5 feet more shelf space? Sure thing, just send me some tickets to see the Eagles next Saturday. He had a laundry list of shit that these companies gave him for better slot space. Even when companies started cracking down on it they'd just send gifts to his family. I work in retail bakery. We don't make anything from scratch. Everything comes in frozen. We just bake it or thaw them out before putting them on the shelves. Cakes are pre-made, we just put icing and decorations. Lots of customers don't like that our products are kept in the freezer. We waste a lot of food. Quality inspectors at grocery warehouses tear open bags, cut open fruits and veggies, and stick thermometers in meat and chicken. That all gets thrown away. When meat products especially are above a certain temperature, they get discarded too. I was once responsible for getting rid of over $100,000 worth of meat due to temperature. Made the warehouse discard $10,000 worth of strawberries that went moldy in the warehouse. Didn't even get to the store. A grocery store near me has a seafood scale which is wrong. The salmon and catfish is weighed at 8 ounces but is well over a pound. Always check the weight of your meat using a separate scale and check the accuracy. In this case it's in our favor. My first job was working at a grocery store. A few weeks before a planned ad launched, the stock team would reprice the items in the ads and mark them up, so the sales price was only a few cents less than the original, non-sale price. They'd do this in advance and cycle through the store marking up items before they went on sale. Then shortly after the sale went off, the prices would be lowered again. They had a specific night a week where the stock team would stay overnight to reprice everything. Most big chain supermarkets have really shoddy buying practices. The big one is for anything that is prone to spoilage. They'll leave it sit at the warehouse until it starts to rot, then claim spoilage and negotiate for cheaper prices. The growers have no choice but to accept the lower price and the store pays 16-year-olds minimum wage to go through all of the produce and remove the rotten ones. Rotten watermelons are freaking foul. If you ask an employee to check in the back for a product 9 times out of 10 they just walk back there, wait a couple minutes, and walk back out to tell you they don't have any more. So this isn't technically about the grocery store itself, but still relevant. My first ever job was as a bagger in a grocery store when I was 15. To work in this store, however, I had to be part of the union in order to work there. Working in said union included a monthly fee as my union dues. After 6 months, they started cutting my hours more and more each week, until finally, they cut my hours completely for 4 months. After that time, I got a bill in the mail for $150 of unpaid union dues. I called the office and tried to reason with them, saying that I was a 15-year-old high school student and this was my only income. They responded and said that it didn't matter and I still had to pay the dues. I asked if they would pursue the bill if I quit, and they said no. I called the grocery store the next day and quit, without notice. Edit. Also, one of my responsibilities was to help people to their car and load groceries in their car if they wanted. I wasn't allowed to accept tips. One time, around Christmas this guy bought $700 worth of grocery and helped load them into his car. He came back and tried to give me a $50 tip in front of my manager and walked away after I said I couldn't accept it. Manager took it since I'm not allowed to accept tips. She acted like she was going to put it in the register, but she pocketed it. This is more of a dark secret of store waste, but a good deal of grocery stores, not all, have to throw out bulk if you put it into the bags but don't buy it. Like if you scoop some gummy bears into a bag, for example, and get to the till and say you don't want it now, it gets thrown out because it could have been tampered with. Same goes for fresh meat. If you walk out the front door, even if you immediately turn around and come back in and return it, we have to throw it out. Also any form of pharmacy product that is consumed, vitamins for example, or used for healing wounds, think Neosporin and the like, gets thrown out because it could be tampered with if you return it. And just to make it clear, I am talking about stuff that is sealed on return. No store will put any of this back on the shelf if they are opened. Well known on shady store at least, lol. I worked for a Sam's Club and the only bothersome thing I noticed other than their stingy payroll was the amount of food being thrown away. They praise themselves on donating to the local food bank, but it's only like 1-2% of what actually gets thrown away. I worked the grocery part and had to do the reclaims sometimes and hated myself throwing away a lot of good food, only because the package was torn or smashed a little. They didn't care because I guess they got reimbursed some of that money back. And even worse, they wouldn't even let it slide if we wanted something that was gonna get thrown away anyway. They would threaten to write us up if we were to grab a Hot Pocket out of a ripped box, for example. Part of the problem is what the food banks will take. Where I am, they won't take anything cooked in store or without sealed packaging. Anything fresh needs to be freezable. Those rules knock out 90% of our throws even when there's really nothing wrong with the food. It kills me. And my store is very diligent about marking food down before it hits its date. Products often expire on the shelf and go unnoticed for a long time due to certain staff putting new product in front of old products, and this applies to old apartments. Always check dates when buying something to avoid buying something that went bad months ago. Just in the past few weeks I've pulled approximately 40 bags of dried beans off the shelf ranging from 1 month expired to as far back as June 2018, as well as a can of soup over a year and a half expired. I have worked in grocery stores for about 18 years, with 10 of them being in management. There are too many to list, so I will give a couple. I would say 95-98% of customer complaints just get ignored. Almost every time someone will give you your money back just so you come back and spend more money. When you say you will never come back, we don't believe you. Most grocery stores have a net profit of about 2-3%. The really good ones can get up around 10%, although rare. Just think about that. There is a reason you don't see enough registers open when you shop. Labor is the #1 controllable expense. I personally never use self-check because they are taking a job from another person. Plus they break down easily and I have had to fix them too many times. There is a reason why things are in specific places in most stores. Like fresh produce right when you walk in. or dairy all the way in the back corner of the store. Ever wonder why sugary kids cereals are on the bottom shelves? It's so kids see them. There are so many tricks grocery stores use to get you to buy more items. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg. Stores often play nostalgic music in hopes it will make customers think of better times. Think about that next time you visit a store and leave buying more than you intended. As someone who currently works at a grocery store, I'm tired of the same playlist and majority of the songs are sad ones. There's a grocery store near where I live and a lot of students shop there. Many students use their grocery delivery service, and for that you obviously need to give them a lot of personal info, name, address, phone number, etc. Several weeks ago, many female students that shop there started getting messaged from a bunch of random people asking for a date and God knows what else. Apparently the owner has been selling the private info of students to a bunch of creeps. Edit. I am ashamed to admit I fell for a troll. Montreal. Yes it. The dudes in the meat department always have drugs. That's all for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is simply watch the videos. But if you really want to see the channel thrive, subscribe, like, comment, add to favorites, add to playlist, and share with friends. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, @Reddit, and Insta. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you with tomorrow's upload.